Howdy, friends. Welcome to Unlocked. It's IGN's weekly Xbox show. Coming up on this week's episode, we're going to be talking Call of Duty Black Ops 4's Blackout beta, the Battle Royale mode. We brought Mark Medina, a specialist who spent his entire life last weekend playing it. There's a lot of cool stuff to report out of that. Plus, Bethesda kind of soft announcing Wolfenstein 3, which is excellent. We'll talk more about that and what else Pete Hines had to say. Plus, a little surprise in the Assassin's Creed Odyssey Season Pass. If you're planning on picking up that game and you're thinking about, oh, what DLC is coming up, you might be surprised at what you'll get for that Season Pass and more. Quick reminder before we get rolling, catch us early. You know, the show usually goes up on Wednesday afternoons on YouTube, on podcast services. But if you want to catch us early, we're here on IGN. Go to unlocked.ign.com. Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. So if you need your fix a little earlier in the week, we're right here for you. I'm Ryan McCaffrey. To my right, the aforementioned Mark Medina. Welcome,
Hello,
my
everybody.
friend. Brandon Tyrell.
Hello.
To my left, and Miranda Sanchez. Great to see you, as always. Anchoring down the opposite end of the table there. So I want to start with a couple of, one major housekeeping note that I know I'm participating in. I'm not sure who else here is.
I'll be there.
Excellent.
I don't know what we're
Everybody's
talking
pretty much
about
in.
yet.
I know you're about to find out.
Okay.
You're surprised too. No, it's good. So IGN is participating in a sort of YouTube-wide content creator initiative to raise money for St. Jude's Children's Cancer Research. So we are hosting a stream with it is a fundraising effort. We'd love for you to watch, to hopefully chip in a little bit. So you can find us this Wednesday. So that's either tomorrow, depending if you're catching us today, or maybe today if you're listening to the show right as it posts outside of IGN. 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. So this is September 19th, 1 to 7 Pacific. That's 4 to 10 Eastern Time. I'm going to be playing Forza Horizon 4.
Nice.
Miranda?
I'll be playing My Hero One's Justice.
Excellent.
Of course.
Brandon?
Anyway.
I'll be playing Dead Cells with Andrew Goldfarb.
Excellent. So whether you want to catch any of us specifically or just see what other game, I actually don't even know what other people are playing. I haven't looked at the spreadsheet lately.
Yeah.
So just stop by, show a little support, maybe give a little bit if you see to it. That'd be awesome. So there's that. Also, want to mention my Forza Horizon 4 preview went up last week, right after last week's show. So if you're curious what the first couple hours of it are like, I would encourage you to go check that preview out. And I posted some gameplay clips to IGN's, of course, the main page and youtube.com/IGN as well. Can't wait to, I just want to play more of that game. By the end of the 2 hours, I was like just kind of really settling in. I was like, oh man, this is so good.
Was it on 1X?
Yeah, I played on the X.
Okay.
Yeah.
We also put up a video benchmarking it on like PC
Yes.
at max settings.
Ooh.
Oh, gorgeous. What's crazy is at 4K at max settings, the PC we were running on, it's still maintained like 60,
Oh, nice.
maybe a little higher. And so
He's a beast.
yeah, if you hang out till the end of the video, you can see all the breakdown of specs and gear and how it performed, but it was admirable.
Yeah. Really good. So there's that. What else? Oh, so yeah, let's just kind of get right into, before we do some news, I wanted to look everybody's way who played, but particularly I know this gentleman to my right, Mark
I
Medina.
believe Miranda played it a lot as
Right?
well.
You spent some time
Not
as
as
well?
much as I would have liked to.
Well, good.
But I
We've
did
got-
get to play a fair bit.
I'm glad we'll get multiple opinions on this because I only watched lovingly from afar. I didn't get a chance to dive in myself, but the Blackout beta for Call of Duty Black Ops 4 happened last weekend, and I know by your account, but I don't think I've heard not to say any negative things about it, but
Right,
the
it's still a beta.
sentiment, the sentiment seems to be extraordinarily positive.
Yeah. I even wrote down here, and I wrote like the positives, and then I was going to write the negatives, and I'm like, I'm just going to write worries because I don't know if they're like
That's fair.
negatives, you know?
Right.
Yeah, like what I'm hearing is armor's just a little too strong, and like all that stuff
They
is balanced.
And then
Also
they-
balanced that during the beta,
Yeah,
which is
they
really
were doing
impressive.
so much stuff during the beta. It started with 80 people, then they upped it to 88.
Meaning per game, the per game limit.
Yeah, 80
Just 80
drop
people in the world.
Yeah, only
it.
80 people could play. Then they did so much just during the beta itself. They bumped it up to 88, and then in the last 2 hours, they were just like, screw it, and bumped it up to 100 people.
That's cool.
Just to see what would happen. They had a couple of different public events going just in that 1 week. Yeah, it was kind of weird because I sit next to somebody that's not traditionally like would be a Call of Duty player. And yet he's still.
You talking about Patrick?
I'm talking about Patrick. Nobody probably knows who he is. But
He's the sweetest, quietest man you've ever met.
One of the secret best people at
manager.
IG.
He likes hiking and animals.
He loves animals. He would rather be
Outdoors.
outside. His Slack tells me that every time I talk to him. We Slack each other. Even though we sit next to each other, we Slack each other a lot.
To give you an idea of how quiet he is.
And he wouldn't traditionally be a Call of Duty player, and yet he had Blackout streams on his computer all week because it's just like kind of fascinating to watch. You said you watched a lot of it.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about this and get your guys' opinion because you and I were talking. I thought this was an off-podcast conversation that I thought I'd bring in here because, when everybody it does. That's the whole point. But when after hearing all the feedback on the beta and everybody seems very jazzed on it, it made me think like, well, could the success of Blackout actually end up benefiting PUBG and Fortnite? Because if you get Call of Duty players who love Call of Duty every year, that give this a try and love it, and you've been head over heels infatuated with this during the beta, that even though it is $60, whereas PUBG's $30 and Fortnite's free, but if you get people in the door by virtue of it being a Call of Duty game and they get super into it, I'm wondering if it might lead them to, of course, continue to play that, but they might also want to go check out the other big Battle Royale games too, and it could end up actually having like a ripple effect that's good for everyone. Am I crazy on that?
Like using Call of Duty as like an entry point.
Yeah, basically.
Maybe. So the thing is, the way I approach this is that Treyarch has done a great job of making this their version of Battle Royale. I think that's really important because it comes with, of course, the Call of Duty suite of weapons and what you expect from a first-person shooter. But Fortnite and PUBG don't offer that because they are inherently different games. And so, like, the perspective's different. Like, of course, with Fortnite, you have the building mechanics, which I think maybe people who are coming from a Call of Duty background may not enjoy. And so I think this may lead people to try them, but not necessarily, like, change over. One thing I keep comparing this to, which I know people are going to hate, is MOBAs. Is because whenever you kind of latch onto one, you find that you like this one, and you don't typically play more than one because you're investing your time learning this one, getting better at this one, investing potentially money in this one. And it's very rare if you change over to a different one, and you probably just completely change over because it's like learning the meta, it's learning all the constant changes and keeping up with the events, and like that's a lot of time. And so I think we also posed a question of like whether or not we could see people from Fortnite or PUBG like just changing over to Black Ops and for Blackout, and I was like, maybe, but I don't think it's necessarily going to dethrone the ones that already exist because that player base is already solid. Like, they know what they like. They know that they're getting the support. I could see some people, if they do prefer, like, the first-person shooter mechanics that are so, like, set in Blackout, could potentially move over just because this hasn't really been offered the same way with those two big ones. But I don't see this as being something that is going to just like overtake everything. It's just like a great new option.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't think it's going to actually like replace anything.
Oh,
the
for
same
sure.
way that Fortnite didn't replace PUBG, it only arguably expanded.
It's just
the
a
Battle
different
Royale
audience. And like,
genre.
I think that's what this is. And I think I will be curious to see if people do go on and try things. And I think that will happen. But I think this is just suited for a different audience, right? And so I think that's really exciting because this is honestly like the Battle Royale experience that I wanted because I do love first-person shooters. Like, that is my thing. Like, I'll play third-person stuff too, but like the mechanics that this comes with is what I would want to play with.
Yeah, I never even, pardon me, Mark, I never even thought about really till you just said it, that, oh yeah, like this is a dedicated, like there isn't a third-person
Yeah, which is what a lot of people do for PUBG.
Whereas
only when you get in a vehicle.
PUBG added the first-person option, server-based option later, and but primarily it and Fortnite are third-person games. So yeah, it didn't even really.
So this is made to be that way, and I think having it tailored that way does a lot for the game.
Yeah,
and that's kind of one of my points is like jumping into PUBG or Fortnite. They're so different than maybe other games you may have played, where you'd be kind of hard pressed to find somebody who hasn't dove into one of the Call of Duties, and since they've essentially kind of mechanics have changed, but Call of Duty 4 is kind of what Call of Duty is still is today. It's kind of like those skills are pretty transferable to be able to jump into this battle royale, and you're like, this is a game type I've never played, but I know Call of Duty, and I know how this game plays. And I think it dipped below 60 frames a couple of times on PlayStation 4, but for the most part, like, this is Call of Duty just on a huge map. Like, they didn't really sacrifice much. The only sacrifices...
The time to kill is different, but it has to be.
Because it's health-based opposed to just, dying really fast.
Right. Well,
like an
multiplayer has
armor
health-based too now.
Sure.
But with Black Ops 4, but the armor is a big change. And I think that's the thing that kind of threw some people off first. And I think especially because the armor, especially if you got level 3, was just like... so good, and
then you can
like
do
we said that they
kits,
did,
which bring your health even above the cap,
right? And so like they did tweak some of that too, so that it is a little bit more balanced. And like this has perks and like a lot of other familiar things that are a little unfamiliar because they are tweaked to fit this. I don't know.
You make a good point about that sort of approachability and accessibility though, because you're right. Like I'm kind of like, I don't really want to learn the crafting mechanics and building stuff and Fortnite and
I tried Fortnite and I couldn't wrap my head around like building. I think takes more practice than I was willing to put into it.
Right.
But to be good at that game, like I shot a guy and all of a sudden he just like builds a mansion around him and I'm like, cool. Yeah.
Even
that's great.
PUBG,
I built a ramp.
I've seen
I don't know what to do with this.
I've walked by Destin's screen and there's this like crazy inventory thing up and I'm just like, not that I'm incapable of learning it, but it's just like, really?
Well, and so Blackout has this like big inventory management like PUBG, but then it translates to consoles so well that I think that's another thing is
it has
PUBG,
a quick menu, which helps so much.
What's that?
A little quick menu in the bottom.
Yeah, and it's awesome. And PUBG has not really translated great to consoles. I haven't played it much on consoles, but it's a little. This is a very polished game that you can play on all the consoles, and I think that's what's great. I think something else about people leaving games is I think it's going to factor in what the big streamers are doing. I think a lot of people play Fortnite because it's always on the top of the list. Yeah. And it's like 130,000 people are watching. 80,000 of those 130,000 are watching Just Ninja. Ninja switches over to Blackout. Shroud switches over. Dr. Disrespect. These people switch over. Blackout's now on top. That's going to drive people to want to play Blackout as well.
Which is why I think Blackout's going to do well. Because with Battle Royale games, you have a lot of it is word of mouth. Sort of
seems like it.
Inclusiveness, and that really starts with the big streamers. Not even the big streamers, but just streamers in general. Right.
I think a big factor in that could stop that though is the price tag.
Sure.
Ultimately,
it's not.
That's the rough one.
It's not your $30. It's not your free to play.
Yeah, Fortnite is on everything. It's on your phone. It's on your Switch, and it's completely free. So anybody can jump into that. PUBG is only on your computer and Xbox, and it's $30. But enough people jumped into that. But Call of Duty is $60.
Yeah. But it does have the name, and it's got mainstream appeal.
Yeah, and that's the thing is Call of Duty already is pretty much the biggest selling franchise every year already. We'll see if people buy into that wouldn't normally buy a Call of Duty just for Blackout. They could.
I'll actually be interested to see if Battle Royale players say, because they see Ninja and Shroud and Dr. Disrespect playing Blackout, they're like, oh, well, now's a Call of Duty that I can pick up. Like having moved on from that series for X amount of years. Now it's time to go back
I see excitement to come back. Like I see people are like, this is the Call of Duty I've been waiting for. I want to play Call of Duty.
I mean, you're preaching to the choir right now. Both Ryan and I were talking about how neither of us play Battle Royale games, but we're like, oh.
Yeah, I was watching it and really interested.
Aside from the speculation of like whether or not this is going to get traction, like what did you think about the beta? Because I was actually really impressed with how stable it was.
Yeah.
As far as betas goes, I only got kicked out of one game of all the games. I didn't play it as much as I would have liked, but I got quite a few games in.
So on launch day, I saw that they were having a few troubles. I did not even play launch day. It's funny. I got it early on PS4. I didn't play it until everybody else was playing it on PC because it's like
that hype was building up, and they were like, "You got to try this."
Like, now everyone's playing it.
It's that word of mouth.
It was weird because I was on Twitch and it was like Blackout. #1 by like 3 times, right? And then it dropped off immediately. And I was like, oh no, this isn't a big deal. Nobody cares. And this is before I had played it, is because all those streamers, they want to play on PC.
Yeah.
So then the second it came out on PC, boom, right back up and stayed up the whole weekend. Yeah, so as far as stability in the game, it was great, except for the RC car. If you jump out a window, that dude just falls through the floor. That sucks.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a beta. Like, there are going to be weird issues. Like, I know
It's like a
PC had
little
some
stuff.
issues
Yeah.
that Steven was talking about. But for the most part, it's like really solid.
It was
I think.
so solid. For a beta. Like I thought it was great. The only other issue I was having was I don't know if this was like NAT types or whatever, but we were trying to play as a squad or a quad, whatever you want to call it, and it kept changing who they would allow to queue up, and so we'd all join. Our friend in Canada, we'd all join his game, and then all of a sudden it would just say, boot it out when he tried to queue us up. So then everyone would join my game, and then that would work. Then all of a sudden mine wouldn't work, and we'd all have to join my wife's game.
Yeah, that sounds
and
like
then
a
that
NAT
would
type
work.
thing sometimes.
Sounds like a NAT issue, yeah.
Yeah, and so I don't know if the NAT types kept changing based on like she's on wired and I'm on wireless, but then sometimes it would work, and I don't know what was going on there. That
It's a
could
beta.
just be an overall issue, or it could just be a beta.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I said, with the frame rate, they had put out a press release before the beta went live saying, our target's 60 frames per second, but this is a huge map, lots of stuff going on. We can't guarantee it. I kind of forgot that they put that out because, man, it was silky smooth for the most part.
Nice.
Until like, I don't know, there was like one point I was like, okay, this dropped a little, but that was in one part of 68 games that I played.
Wow,
So,
60
Dang.
games.
yeah.
It's crazy to me in this
Played a
day
lot.
and age. It's crazy to me in this day and age. You have to put out a press release disclaimer that your beta might not hit 60
Yeah.
frames.
Yeah. It was insane. But other than that, yeah, of the 68 games I played, I can only think of a few times that, like my car fell through the floor or we were having server issues. Like once we figured out the server issues, it's like it would work for several hours. So we were good. It wasn't like every time we went to the lobby, now we got to find someone else to join.
Yeah.
It was like when we were going to start a new play session
Right.
is when we would have that issue.
Did you play solo much at all, or just
I played all of them. I played mostly quads.
okay?
I played a few of the duos with my wife, and then I
So,
played a few solos.
Which
Solos the one
did you like most?
I like
curious.
duos the most.
Okay.
That was fun because, and this is coming from somebody who does not play a lot of battle royales. There's only so much loot in the game, and so there's clearly enough to go around. But when you're dropping into a place with 4 people and there's 3
Yeah.
buildings, it's really tough. And you're trying to wrangle people, and people are jumping through windows, and you're like, "Stop doing this! Like, what are you doing?" When it was just me and my wife playing, like it was, man, we were on. We were just like, we didn't have to wear headsets because we're just next to each other in the living room,
Aw.
and it was just like, you get that building, I get that building. We'd be fully equipped in no time. We'd be on each other. We'd separate when we needed to separate. Like, I like duos a lot. I don't know what other people usually play in battle royales, but duos
it depends.
seems like the sweet spot.
Well, it'll be really interesting to see. I don't know if it's fair to say. I mean, where I sit, I didn't necessarily see a lot of excitement, sort of hype heading into this beta
I
necessarily.
think it caught people by surprise.
But yeah, that's the thing.
think so, too.
I think it did. It definitely has come out of the beta much in a much more a lot of positivity coming out of it
Yeah.
than sort of more the neutrality going into it.
I think it's just a big curiosity because nobody really knew what this was, aside from leading up to it. Like, they released those few trailers. It's like, well, we have zombies, and here's kind of a hint at how they work, and just more hints. And
Yeah,
then
and,
I think it was probably right of them just to show it and not and like have it
I
playable.
think it's one of those things where it's like Call of Duty and Battlefield 5 both just kind of announced that they are having a battle royale mode at the same times, and so people just get that like fatigue just from hearing about it. Oh, now
Sure, like,
everything's getting a
everything's
battle
gonna
royale,
Right.
And so it's like you kind of write it off before you even play it, and then you play it and you're like, wow, this one's
I think
actually really good.
I was definitely on the curious side because it's just like how are you going to make this your unique battle royale? Because I think anyone can do it, but what do you do to make it special? So
And it turns out
See?
I think it's their engine is what's making it special, which is great. You know,
that it's polished and
just
it's
because, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that's what's always
feels
that's
good.
what I've always loved about zombies is you get to play this like Left 4 Dead style video game on Call of Duty's engine, and that's like it's great. The one biggest fear that I'll kind of close with is something Miranda, I think it was you that brought it up yesterday, which was we filmed a big convo, and so we were all having micro conversations, which is Blackout's cool, comes out the 12th. We'll have weekly events. They had 2 weekly events during just the beta alone. They had a raid boss from the Zombies map 9 called the Blight Father, and then they had close quarters mode, which was
That's my rap name.
What's that?
That's my rap name.
Blight Father?
Yeah.
Blight Father.
And then they had a close quarters mode, which was SMGs, shotguns, and pistols only. And so I'd love to see stuff like that, where it's like, I want to do shotguns only or snipers only.
That's Halo style. That's
Well,
like
yeah, no,
old
I
school
love it.
Halo
I
style.
love
yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
straight out of like
just-
MOBAs do it too, where they have like the fun mode for the week. You know?
And so I thought to myself, okay, that's gonna be great. But the biggest question is, what's gonna happen when Infinity Ward's Call of Duty comes out? Is Blackout going to exist in Infinity Ward?
It's a really
Or is Infinity Ward just?
See, I
are they
think-
going to have their own battle royale?
It's a really good
I was
question.
definitely the one who brought that up yesterday. So it comes down to, because we expect a yearly Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I think that not only inhibits its esports, because it's hard to like get really around a new game every single
Right.
time. And like, yes, this one lives on, people will stay with it, but how long? Like, obviously, a lot of people are still playing World War II, or I'm assuming people are, because
Yeah.
they're still releasing things for it,
Yep.
which is great. So like, the studio will support it, but how long will the player support it? And then how will that change? Matchmaking and everything else. What part of it?
It's just so strange because Call of Duty kind of does this things where they give you the keys to the city. When their cycle's almost over, they start having fun. Infinite Warfare had gesture mode where you're just running around and you're just like doing that, and it would kill people instantly, and it's just a stupid game mode. World War II has prop hunt where you play as like a wheel and you go and hide and people have to try to find you. Like, it's just fun stuff like that. I was playing World War II yesterday. I noticed they completely abandoned headquarters. Like, that's can all be done in a menu, and it's just because it's like, it's not about like, oh, headquarters was a bad idea. It's just this Call of Duty's life cycle is over, and it's kind of depressing to log in and kind of see that like there's no reason to go to headquarters anymore.
Yeah,
like it's the game's just over kind of thing. And so
party's
it's like,
over.
The big part of the player base has moved on and is ready for the next thing.
Unless like has happened in the past, the next game's multiplayer just falls flat with the community, and then like, all right,
then they all go back.
We're all
Right.
gonna go back,
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of like, what is Blackout going to look like, September
next
of
year.
next year?
Yeah.
Is it just infinite weapons and like, who knows?
Oh, like Blackout in space.
like just keys to the city. You can do it. You can fly.
if Activision was smart, and they are, I would imagine that they would take whatever the framework of Blackout is from Black Ops 4, use that as a launching point for the next season of Blackout.
Yeah, and make
in the
a new
next,
map.
But I think
so $60 to get that.
Because I think one new map a year is pretty reasonable.
So-
Fortnite is still on the same map.
considering
It's not a
the cadence
problem
set by PUBG.
of whether or not like Treyarch can keep this going. It's a matter of whether or not the player base will be there.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think
Splinters,
to
so.
Miranda's point, I wonder, I'm sitting here trying to think of like possible solutions to the excellent point you bring up, Miranda. And I wonder if after a year, when next year's Infinity Ward game is due to hit, if Blackout is spun off as a free thing, as its own separate free thing, so that it can live on.
Yeah, that's kind of what
Like,
I was
is that?
thinking, too.
I wonder if that's I mean, that would require some different thinking at Activision than what they've done before. But if they want to sort of be serious about the battle royale space and potentially as an esport, that could be. That's one option that comes to mind from me, an amateur idiot sitting behind a desk.
I don't see that. I don't see that happening. I think if they spin it out as a standalone sort of its own product, then they're losing that buy-in to play the next battle royale version of Blackout for that $60 that you spend the following year, right? So similar to the way MLG does it or whatever, the next Call of Duty comes out, the esports picks up that multiplayer suite, and they run with it. So you have Blackout, and then Infinity Ward's game comes out, call it Infinite Blackout or whatever. As soon as the streamers pick it up, they're like, oh, this is the new hotness. You got to jump on it. It's worth $60. Suddenly that is another reason to drop $60 on top of zombies and multiplayer.
It's just gonna be weird.
Maybe a
'cause
campaign.
That one is just definitely gonna have less of a splash than Blackout is. This is the first
sure.
time we're seeing like this polished Call of Duty, first-person shooter battle royale. If we
Yeah.
see it again next year,
Well-
I don't think it's gonna blow anyone's socks off.
And let's
Well,
You never
we'll see. You could
know.
say the
It could.
same.
Yeah.
You could say the same about Modern Warfare 2, right? Like after COD
Mm-hmm.
4 came out, that sort of redefined what the console first-person shooter was.
To your point, though, I mean, Treyarch is regarded as a very, very strong team, whereas, let's be honest, Infinity Ward's last couple of efforts have been not as strong relative to the other two teams.
It's
that
I
work on
still
Call
remember
of
when it
Duty.
used to be the opposite.
I'm
That's
looking
till
at the
Vince
culture.
packed up and took the crew to respawn.
Exactly. I look at the culture and I'm seeing people in the comments and they're just like, I'm just so excited to be playing a Treyarch Call of Duty again. And I remember I covered Infinite Warfare 2 years ago, and that game, I mean, not from sales numbers, but from IGN numbers, more or less bombed because it was just like Infinity Ward, not too many good things to say about them, which is crazy because they just hired all these new great people, Taylor Kurosaki, and was a narrative lead on Uncharted, and I thought Infinite Warfare was really good, but I think it outlived its jetpacky, that kind of.
It was just fatigue at that point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Like Advanced
what people
Warfare,
wanted was over, and I actually had to look up because I didn't play any of the Black Ops 4 multiplayer beta, and I was like, so are we jetpacking still? And apparently we're not.
We are not.
No
that
jetpacks.
is
Not-
over.
We're what a hero shootering, I guess. Like
Not really. Like, kind of, yes. Like, yes, you pick a
your
character
operator.
to play as.
Yeah.
Yeah, a specialist, but you don't. It's like weird because you can change their kits and stuff, so you're not bound to what they are.
Right.
But
they
there
always
are
have that, like,
incentives to
ultimate-
do that.
yeah.
Especially lower levels.
The last 2 points I wanted to make on this, because this is turned. This happens every week where we're
Yep.
like, oh, it's a slow news week.
The first news item really
the key
kicks off.
was-
Just does the whole thing.
was having the two of you to have such great back and forth
Sure.
on Blackout. But number one is seemingly the Blackout seems to be on pace now to kind of do a pretty good job of papering over the lack of a single player campaign. Like this is a new thing in Call of
Feel so
Duty
bad. I
that
was
people
never
are
sad.
buzzing about. Like I definitely remain sad
know.
as well.
I'm
But
sorry.
as far as the community, we'll see when the game comes out and what the sales numbers are and potentially the review scores too. But maybe they're gonna get away with it. They're gonna get away with it.
They are.
I think a big part of that too is like potentially a lot of people who would have been very interested in playing that campaign may have not also been as interested in the multiplayer side of it. And so I think potentially, just speaking out of speculation, those people would not necessarily be interested in Blackout because it is ultimately more multiplayer.
Yeah.
And so if you are looking for that slow experience, you're still not getting that.
Yeah.
True.
The way I look at it is the people that they're losing from not getting a single player, like let's say 100 people were going to buy the game and they lost, I don't know, 15 people because those 15 people don't
15%
aren't going to play Call of Duty without a single player. I think 50 people are going to buy it just for Blackout. So I think the
net gain.
I don't think
will
they have
work in
anything
their
to
favor.
worry about.
They've flopped
I
the
don't know.
priorities, and I think you're right. Like, no disrespect to Call of Duty, there's been some amazing campaigns in the past, but I don't think campaign was ever a singular selling point for that series.
Well, it's been a while.
Especially not anymore.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you're
remember
right. I
this?
think they're taking this new battle royale trend and being like, look, our return from making a BR version for Call of Duty is better than putting all that effort into a scripted narrative-driven campaign.
And we also have the stats. This comes
exactly.
from like research and a lot of
that
other
like
stuff too.
that
It's
like
not
de-
just
it takes up like 80% of development time with like 20% of the return. You know what I mean? Like most of the development time comes from the single player. That once the single player is complete, those people then bleed over into zombies and multiplayer. And it's like, I guess somebody was just like, hey, why don't we just not invest all those resources?
Yeah.
Like, because even if they do see a loss, it's one of those things where it's like, it's something we deal with here on VPH and stuff like that. It's like, even if they did see a loss, how much time did they? How much? I know nobody's gonna know. What that
Yeah,
means.
that's the most
pulling- you're
inside
pulling back- know what that
baseball.
means.
You're pulling back the curtain here. You're showing the secret sauce. We can't do that.
Even if
Sorry, I
even
didn't
if
mean to
it's
do
sold a little bit less, I think they stand to gain from not paying for these huge actors
Right.
and all of this development time.
Yeah,
I think
there could very well be something to that. And then the other thing I wanted to mention real quick was, it kind of has to be a competition because the two companies kind of make it that way, and the community certainly makes it that way. With regard to Battlefield's Battle Royale,
Fight.
The ball is in their court now. Like Blackout has come out first and come out strong, so it's going to be really interesting just to see what DICE does.
Right?
with
And
their
theirs
version
comes
of
out after launch too.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
don't. Well, I don't know how much further since they did move their release date.
Right, they push back.
But not that much.
That's
so.
actually smart, in my opinion. I think that's working for them.
I agree.
Because
It could.
a battle royale game, because it's driven so much by Twitch and streamers, the popularity like word of mouth. I think that's really smart to allow Blackout to have its day in the sun and the streamers to do that, and then. You see them jump to the next game to create content. Like we're all aware of how hard it is to cover a game for a year. Like how much more can I possibly get out of this game 12 months into it? So, give Blackout a day its day in the sun. Once the streamers have milked it, Battlefield's version comes
they
out
could
and
be
they're
ready
like, all
for
right,
it."
we're jumping into this now.
Yeah, what's it called? Firestorm? Or
I actually don't even know.
I don't even know.
That sounds about right.
It's something like that.
I haven't heard it since E3, and that's it's been a few days since then.
It's tough because Blackout did launch their beta early, and then when you really count the days till Blackout 4 launches, it's right around the corner.
Yeah, it is coming up.
So Battlefield has no share space right now.
So the thing is too, again, it's gonna be, I think, would be a very different battle royale experience because even just comparing Call of Duty and Battlefield, they're so different as from
Absolutely.
shooters. And so I think that's the thing I always emphasize, hey, remember that these are very different games and the way they play is very different. And I think there's a lot of potential for there to be something cool.
Yeah,
out of
we
that battle royale
more
experience.
vehicle driven and stuff
I
like
think
that.
I think people like that because battle royale is a genre now. So you take that genre and you put it in different, designs or different packaging, if you will. Similar like MOBA, you have top-down MOBAs, you have third-person MOBAs, and you had Paragon, which is no longer
I'm gonna
around.
say, and again, with that trend, not everything succeeded, and so it's going to be a matter of what will people latch onto and how will it be supported, and will it be good? That's the big question.
But there's a certain feeling of satisfaction and accomplishment of learning the new rules of the genre that you play in this different form factor that I think is going to drive its popularity. I do think this hurts PUBG. This is an Xbox show, bringing it back to Xbox. Right now, the only two battle royale games on consoles that you really are looking at are PUBG and Fortnite. PUBG is, of course, on Xbox, and now, if you're not really a fan of Fortnite, you don't really have another option on PlayStation. You do on Xbox, and with Blackout coming out, I think you see market share on the console side, Xbox in particular, coming off of PUBG onto Blackout, where you're not going to see that on PlayStation 4 either.
Well, yeah, but there's definitely a lot more room in the marketplace on PS4 for Blackout than on Xbox.
Which it doesn't worry me, but it makes me wonder. Microsoft did spend all that money, so I'm wondering is that return going to start to dwindle?
It's a fair point. It's an interesting
by the time it's always been theorized that I most of us thought we'd see it this year, PUBG come to PS4, and it's
it's just out now, as of last month.
But it's does it even I know, right? But it's does it have a place now?
Yeah,
it's a little bit more crowded now.
Talking to Steven, PUBG does seem like a deeper game than Blackout is as far as mechanics go. I don't know if you guys can speak to that quickly, but as far as mechanics and weapons and all that, PUBG,
I know there's a different button for jumping and vaulting.
Okay.
That's as far as I got.
Okay, so you think they're roughly kind of similar?
No.
He's saying he hasn't played it. Really.
I think they're deeper, but I really don't know much about PUBG at all.
Well, yeah, so Steven was saying PUBG seems like a deeper version of Blackout. Blackout is the more mainstream, more accessible version.
Yeah.
And Fortnite
Rinse,
is
repeat.
Fortnite, building and
Understand.
yeah.
I tried playing PUBG, couldn't get into it. I understood Blackout immediately.
Yeah.
We'll ask Destin when he's back on the show next week. He's spent plenty of time with PUBG.
See, a lot of competition in the coming
Yeah,
year.
I've only played a little bit of PUBG. Wasn't also super into it, so I jumped ship.
Good stuff from Blackout. Mark's right. The beta's over, but the full game is less than a month away.
Whew.
So it's coming. News-wise this
Always
week,
here.
Pete Hines was the VP of many things at Bethesda, was talking to Game Central. He's the senior vice president of global marketing and communications these days. He said that he confirmed that the studio is, quote, absolutely making Wolfenstein 3. When asked about the future of the Wolfenstein franchise, Hines said, quote, absolutely we're making a Wolfenstein 3. Machine Games said on stage, meaning at E3, that they're taking a break from the larger story to do Youngblood, their sort of standalone expansion with the two the children of BJ and Anya. Says, but we have to see how that ends. In response to a question, and then they touched on Dishonored also, because Dishonored's a game. If I'll speak for Alana. Rest in peace, for as far as the show goes.
Oh no!
Still in the lead on trivia.
She's probably still alive.
Yay.
Yeah, she's fine.
Oh, yeah, she's doing great.
But yeah, Dishonored is a great series. Probably, if you were to look at the highest Metacritic and lowest sales, it's probably like the sort of ratio there. It should go. They should be sort of parallel, but
You'd wish.
they're not.
So
with Dishonored,
critically acclaimed but commercially unsuccessful.
yes,
Interesting.
yes. I mean,
I've never played one, so I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You should.
They are
Really should.
excellent games.
I've never really it's
I adore
my
them.
main reason with Skyrim. I've never been into like first person melee stuff. I just feel like it's
You don't have to play that way.
too strange. You can do
Yeah,
third
you can just
person,
sneak around.
or
you
just
can,
shoot
you
stuff.
you can use projectiles.
Yeah, if you really want
If I'm
to.
gonna be a first person wizard, I could just play Skyrim again.
You could.
Yeah.
Or
That is
play
an option.
Dishonored.
But in
It's-
any case,
It's not a problem.
so Pete said about Dishonored in response to a question. Is Dishonored kind of resting? Is it nothing going on with that? And he said, I wouldn't read too much into that. So we'll see. I mean, Arcane, they had their studio head left, at least for now, retired. So yeah, I wonder what the future of Dishonored is. That with that critical acclaim that did not come with quite as much commercial success as that series has probably deserved. But Wolfenstein, boy, I mean, I suppose I would have assumed that Machine was going to do at least one more. Machine Games is going to do at least one more Wolfenstein. But it's nice to hear that is apparently the plan.
Yep.
The first one, again, the first hour is not super great, and then from there on, it's still, I think, one of the best first-person shooters of this generation. Certainly, it's a single-player only game.
Yeah.
It is just fantastic if you have not played the first reboot Wolfenstein.
Yeah, I think Wolfenstein's filling a role that we don't see very much these days, which is a not just single player, but an excellent single player campaign in a first person shooter. You don't get those very often. Titanfall 2 is the last one that I remember being like, wow, that was something.
Yeah, what actually would be best first person shooter single player campaigns this generation?
This generation. I mean,
So Wolfenstein,
Titanfall 2, Doom.
Titanfall 2, Doom,
Doom.
yes,
Doom was
One.
cool.
yes.
Gonna look at Bethesda for a minute.
Yeah.
I mean,
They've
I know Prey had a lot of
A lot of people liked
technical
Prey.
flaws at launch,
Yeah.
but those were resolved.
Yeah.
I did a preview event that was like 2 or 4 hours with it, and then I ended up just not getting back to it once it finally came out, even though it's kind of the spiritual successor to System Shock 2,
Yeah.
which is one of my favorite games ever, so I don't know how I never got back to Prey.
I haven't played it either, but it's one of those games that's on my list as quirky and unique, and
Yeah.
the idea that anything could be a little alien, even a
Right.
coffee mug, even
Yes.
this glass
Very-
of coffee. Yeah,
very stressful.
it sounds so cool. I love that.
it was really neat for sure. I think it had a lot of great ideas there too.
I didn't get around to doing all the vignettes from Battlefield 5.
See,
but-
those didn't do it for me the way a lot of
Battlefield,
people.
won.
Sorry,
Battlefield 1. Yeah.
sorry, excuse me. Battlefield 1.
He's living in the future.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was going to
my
say
thing.
Call of Duty Infinite Warfare was a lot of people
Really?
slept on it, and I loved it.
I heard it was good.
I got
I
a couple
loved it.
hours in and got bored and
It
bailed out.
Scratched that. I mean, it depends on. Do you like Halo Reach?
It's the least good
Eh.
Halo.
Oh no!
Yeah.
As far as
See, so I
campaigns
love.
go.
Wait,
well,
what?
except for 5.
Whoa,
Sorry,
whoa,
hold on.
whoa.
Sorry,
I love-
it was.
okay.
I
other
love
than
Reach's
5.
campaign, and
I
so
did too.
Infinite
I'm with
Warfare.
It's
you.
Bungie's worst Halo, in my opinion.
I'm with you. I thought
And
Reach
again,
was-
worst.
I thought Reach
air
was.
quotes.
Which I love that campaign.
If you like
and so
war
Infinite
movies,
Warfare
yeah.
just totally scratched that itch for me. I loved
That's
it a
fair.
lot. I also like Doom a lot.
Doom's
yeah,
good.
Doom's
very
so good.
Wolfenstein was one of those games where it was weird. So it came out on the day last year. I think it's October 27th or whatever.
Oh yeah, with Mario and
Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
And so it's kind of like those were like the spotlight, right? Like I was super deep into Mario and very interested because Origins was kind of like a reboot for Assassin's Creed. So it's kind of like a new Assassin's Creed. And then there was so many people. It was like Mitchell and Alana and Dan Stapleton, and they're like, yeah, but like Wolfenstein 2 is really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Like,
How
don't
good
forget about the
super
the
producer
third one.
Dan Parkhurst getting that Wolfenstein 2
There it
trailer
is.
on the video
He's
screen.
climbing
right
out of a
Love it.
wheelchair. Then I tried to play it, and I did not like it. I just didn't. I felt like the shooting mechanics were off for me for some reason. I don't know. It just felt weird, and the story itself, which funny, Brian Bloom, also the main character of Infinite Warfare. So that was like kind of cool. Is that it was kind of like, you know, but yeah, I just really couldn't get into it. There was a certain scene I need to capture, like the big scene from Wolfenstein 2, and I got to that part, and then once I got that scene, I was just done. Like I just didn't play it again.
Well,
But I know
mean-
a lot of people loved it.
Yeah, universally, Wolfenstein 2 seems like people love that campaign.
Yep.
Again,
I haven't finished that
another
either.
one I haven't finished
halfway
either, yeah.
through.
But you know, it's a victim of its timing, like you said.
Yeah.
Just like a lot of games out there, like
Stuff.
not to beat a dead horse, but Titanfall 2 came out the week between Call of Duty and Battlefield.
Yeah.
And it's like
I'm so
these
sad about that.
these hidden
So
gems,
good.
like you know, Wolfenstein had to live in the shadow of Mario. Titanfall 2 had to live in the shadow of the two biggest shooting franchises of every year.
One of which the EA also published.
Yeah.
They buried
So
their own
insane.
game,
Shot themselves in the foot.
which is just tragic because
I
Titanfall
actually-
2 is so good.
I actually asked them about that. I was like, "Are you not worried at all about cannibalizing?
Like,
your
why are
own-
you
your
sending
own-
your
They would
own-
never say publicly like they screwed up. They'd
No,
never
no.
say-
They're-
like, you'd have to get.
Their line was that these are two different franchises for two different types of players.
But I want to
Like,
do
that's-
both.
I'll bet if I got Vince Zampella drunk, which I don't know how that would ever happen, but just in a hypothetical, he would
doesn't drink?
I would think, but he would probably be like, "Yeah, that really sucked. That was really pissed about that." But that's just me projecting. I don't know.
You got to
I don't know what
you got
Vince
to
really
factor
thinks.
in money. If people are buying Call of Duty and then they're buying Battlefield 1 and they're buying Titanfall, that's so much money.
It's name recognition, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
yeah.
Pepsi,
But-
Coke, or RC. Like
So-
not to equate Titanfall to RC. RC is
RC's pretty good.
I love RC
Oh,
Cola.
no.
I don't
RC's
get it.
better than Pepsi.
RC is actually a fine product as well. But
Yeah.
in the my
rough.
god,
I just think of that-
but there are no rules anymore.
I just think of that Family Guy
dear.
gag where they're like stuck in the desert and they're like, "Oh my god, it's a Dr Pepper machine!" And they get to it, they're like, "Oh, it was a mirage, an RC Cola machine."
We're gonna die.
They're like, "We're gonna die," and I'm like,
Remember the time we were stranded in the desert?
"It's so good."
Anyway, name recognition
Wolfenstein.
means something.
So,
Timing. Lots of great first person shooters get lost behind the
does-
shadows
does
of
seem to
bigger
happen.
franchises.
particularly in Q4, but
Yeah.
So Wolfenstein. So if Wolfenstein 3 is in the works, I have to presume that that's maybe a fall 2019 title, but hopefully if they're smarter, maybe a spring 2020. Catch it on the tail end of the before PS5 and
Yeah,
Scarlet
console
drop.
life cycle. Yeah.
And then I want to float just one more thing out on this, and you're welcome to agree, disagree, or
Float it on.
suggest
Is
something
Shasta
else. but-
better than RC Cola? The answer is no.
What?
Well,
They-
Shasta's no. That's like the
That's the Safeway Select
that's
of cola.
the basement. Yeah, that's
Don't
like
do
the
that one.
basement
I don't think I know what that is.
quality.
You don't know what Shasta?
Yeah, I've
is?
never heard of
Like
that.
Shasta.
We had it in Arizona.
It's like a regional brand. It's
Is
Oh.
it?
Yeah.
I thought it was everywhere.
Yeah,
Is it
it's-
good?
it's trash soda.
I haven't since
Okay.
moving to California. I haven't seen a Shasta.
Their Mountain
and
Dew is called
I've
Mountain
been,
Lightning.
I've been here like 18 years. So
We don't allow it in California.
there's somebody at
we have,
every
we
border
have
crossing.
Mountain Shasta. That's enough.
Get that trash back to the Midwest.
You turn that Shasta truck right around and go back to Phoenix.
We drink RC Cola here, okay, in California.
I actually do like getting RC Cola with my pizza sometimes. Just
The C stands for California.
Where can
in
you
RC.
even get RC Cola?
the place I order pizza from. has
Yeah.
RC Cola.
Okay.
What?
Sometimes
never
I
see
walk
it.
into a gas station.
They also have,
and
like,
they
Diet
have
Coke
like
and stuff,
RC Cola,
but-
and I'm like, there it is.
There it is.
It's like a special thing.
It is.
Have you guys ever seen a Mr. Pibb?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
well,
Not-
not out here.
Not okay.
But
not in. It's
You can't
no.
clone Dr. Pepper. Is just you can't
special.
copy it.
What is this,
You can only make
KFC?
doesn't
It's
work.
21 secret spices and Dr.
yeah.
Pepper?
have you
That's
had with like the cane sugar?
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I had-
So
So
good.
I had
the
the Coke.
Target that I go to that's nearest to me used to have the pure sugar cane Dr. Pepper, and they don't have it anymore.
Well, if you get Coke in a glass bottle, that's
Well,
like
yeah,
European
That's usually
Mexican. That's
Right.
made with real
Mexican
sugar.
soda.
I exclusively
versus-
stock that. At
Yeah,
home.
because it's. I don't know. You would think because the other one's made with high fructose corn syrup,
Yeah,
and
I
like
don't-
the
It
real
changes
sugar
it.
one is like.
I mean, the real sugar.
Yeah, and well, you also
used to
kind of
have it
feel
at
like
the-
you're drinking a what is it called, a Nuka-Cola?
I remember.
just the feeling
yeah,
of
just
it.
because it's like the little
Say those bottle caps.
I remember
Kinda feels-
back when the pure sugar glass bottle Coke thing was first sort of taken off, like maybe however many years ago. I was at Valve for something, and it's been a while since I've been at Valve, so I don't even remember what it was. But I remember I went into there, like they took me through to the kitchen, and they just stocked it, and I was
Yeah,
like,
no,
Valve's
drink it.
amazing.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Welcome to
Sugarcast,
Yeah.
or SodaCast.
Play the best,
Soda
the
cast.
best sodas.
Yeah.
So Wolfenstein 3, I wanted to say, I would love to see, so Machine Games, if you're not aware of who they are, I mean, of course you've hopefully played their 2 Wolfenstein games, and then there was the one standalone campaign, the New Blood, is that what the name of it?
It was yeah.
Whatever it was
New
called.
Blood and the New Colossus.
That's Wolfenstein 2.
Oh, right,
but yeah,
right.
so if you aren't familiar with their work through that, know that the core of that team also was Starbreeze, the sort of core of Starbreeze originally, makers of The Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay, one of the definitely 10, possibly 5 greatest original Xbox games ever. And you talk about a great single-player, first-person campaign.
Yeah.
Riddick's incredible, but so I would love to see their talents put to work, because I'm going to presume that Wolfenstein will be a trilogy. That 3 games
They'll wrap it
typically
up.
tends to be, and after that, I think it seems like you get diminishing returns both.
Well, you said it was going to be
creatively and-
around the kids, right?
Well, the Youngblood
it's like a-
thing,
The Young-
which isn't Wolfenstein 3.
It's
That's
a-
the standalone thing that
it's
they're
a
working
spin-off.
on now. Yeah, so
Got it.
anyway, I would love to see Machine Games
Check out
apply the Wolfenstein treatment of meaning rebooting a classic id IP with a narrative focus to Quake.
Ooh.
Yes, we have Quake 3. Pardon me, we have
Quake Champions.
Quake Champions. Thank you, but the original Quake 1 was a game that id was trying to build like a whole big like universe around. There was there was like these crazy creatures and a lot of the monsters and the weapons, and the original version of it had like a hammer that never obviously came out, but Quake has sort of this deep-rooted core narrative that never really got explored. I mean, Quake 2 was very much a strong single-player game that kind of went off in the Strogue direction with the aliens, but I'd love to see them Machine do their thing on Quake. That would
Be cool.
Yep.
that would be fun. So, all right, there's that. We got to scurry along here for the last few things.
Much
Brandon, you were talking about Sea of Thieves earlier. We've got a little bit of just a timing update here on the next big content drop.
The Forsaken Shores update, I guess last announced content update for Sea of Thieves. We know there's going to be 3 more this year after Forsaken Shores.
3 more this year?
That's what they told me. Yeah,
It's September. Really?
they are.
That's
Not
impressive.
enough time.
They are working on. Well, they have a 4 or maybe 5 team now leapfrog approach where team A, B, C, and D. Once A finishes, they go to E. Once
Got it.
bless you.
You're the best. Bless you.
I'm holding back. Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
Thoughts and prayers are
me.
with you in this difficult time.
These things hard, guys.
So yeah, they basically just leapfrog. Once A finishes, they start working on whatever the next one is after. So Forsaken Shores was going to be out, I believe, this week. Maybe was it
Supposed to be the
tomorrow?
19th.
Yeah, I think it was supposed
It was
to be
supposed to be
tomorrow.
tomorrow. It's being pushed back to September 27th. That's my birthday.
Really?
Happy
Oh, my
birthday.
birthday's this
Just for
week.
you.
My birthday's on Thursday.
Why didn't you?
I haven't done a
Oh.
damn
Why didn't
thing
you
with
tell
it.
us?
Well, I should.
Write that
Now you know.
down.
Nothing to brag about
Yeah.
your 28th birthday.
Oh, this guy.
That's why I get to be on the shows.
right.
You said it
Mark
was Thursday the 20th.
I'm the 20th.
You're September 20th.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm the last day of summer. before we switch to fall.
I'm the 1 week after the last day of summer. Anyway, go wish Ryan a happy birthday on Thursday. But yes, Forsaken Shores delayed a week to September 27th.
Cool.
Yeah, they said, hold on, I just have a quote here from our friend Joe Neat, the executive producer. He said, they're currently nearing the end of our polish and bug fixing phase, and our goal is to ensure we deliver a stable, polished, and bug-free experience. So they just need a little more time.
Yeah, there was like
Simple as that.
there was a memory issue that they caught. I believe if I remember it right, they caught a memory issue. Which if you've ever dealt with memory issues, it's one of those things that eventually just crashes.
Memory leak you're referring to.
Memory leak.
Yeah, memory leaks are bad.
Yeah, it starts fine, but like data slowly like falls out, and then eventually it just becomes overwhelmed, and you crash when you're right in the room before the final boss, and nobody likes that. So, yeah, no big deal. A week, take your time. Hopefully, I can convince Miranda to jump in with me, and we can play some Forsaken Shores.
Wait, can I play too?
No,
We haven't done our episode
just Miranda.
in Sea of Thieves yet. I've been wanting to go back. Like I've been
Me
putting
too.
on my Xbox and just looking at it and thinking, hey, that'd be fun.
Well, they have a 3-person.
I don't wanna
ship
go alone.
now.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The Brigantine.
Mark, you're not
The
invited. I'm
Brigantine,
sorry.
yeah.
We could sail a galleon.
That's just
We
kidding.
wanted to.
You can come. Maybe we can.
So yeah, we're gonna. I'm gonna do my best to get some Forsaken Shores. Maybe a live stream up next week. But
That'd be fun.
Forsaken Shores, September 27th.
Fantastic. And it's on Game Pass. If you haven't played it, just download it. Go.
Yeah,
Try it out.
$10.
Get
$10
some
a
friends and
So
go.
good.
there's actually some really good deals out there.
I still I think it was like launch week or something. Miranda, you and I just happened upon each other. We were both
Yeah.
on, and we had a great time in the 2-person sloop for like
Such a great
three
experience.
hours, like whatever the whole evening was.
Yeah.
We just had a great time sailing around. We had some crazy storms we had to navigate. We're like,
Oh my
I
gosh,
don't know which way I'm
storms.
facing. Where do we go? We were trying to get some treasure back to an outpost, and we were spun around in
We
a
kept
storm.
spinning around, because of the
Yeah.
storm. We kept losing
crazy.
the outpost.
It's good times.
I played
Very
so much
good.
Sea of Thieves when it came out. I liked it a lot.
That's
too.
great. All right, real quick. So, Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Greece.
This is a game that I thought, okay, man, they just came off this big win, big high with Origins. They'd waited, they skipped a year, so there was a nice little build up. Oh man, they're coming right back with another one this year. But
Yep.
I played a bunch of Odyssey at E3,
Yeah.
and oh my god, it's really good. It's
Holy
also
crap.
it might have one of my favorite color palettes
Look, yeah.
in a game.
If you're
Really
watching
nice.
the video,
Long-
it is
like,
gorgeous.
it is so vivid and bold, which is what, of course, ancient Greece looked like originally. In time, so that the artifacts we have now don't have that vividness due to the weathers of time. But yeah, it's a beautiful game. There are a lot of RPG elements. I've been really surprised at how much I am digging this game when I've played it. And so there is a season pass, as many of the Call of Duties, Assassin's Creeds have had. So here's what's in it. The pass is included in the Gold, Ultimate, Spartan, and Pantheon editions, but you can also, if you're just buying the vanilla game, you can grab the season pass for $40. There are 2 story-centric episodes that'll be included with that: Legacy of the First Blade and The Fate of Atlantis, both of which contain 3 episodes that they'll be 6 weeks apart. Now, here's the interesting bit. The last major addition to this season pass is not another content drop per se, another DLC, but it's Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered with all of the DLC that it had, including 4K and HDR functionality on the X, if you're on Xbox One X, higher resolution textures, a new graphics engine, other graphical enhancements, and improved gameplay mechanics. That's going to be out as part of the Season Pass in March of 2019. You will be able to buy it separately if you don't have any interest in Odyssey or Odyssey's Season Pass.
I think
go figure.
Liberations as well.
Oh yeah, thank you. I totally skipped over that. The Vita game, Assassin's Creed Liberation,
That did eventually come to console.
Yeah, get the
Yeah.
console later.
which was, I think, okay. Like, it wasn't necessarily amazing.
I think it's the only game that got leaked twice. Well,
I think you're right.
Oh.
the Vita version got leaked, and then the.
But yeah, how about that? I mean, you're getting a full game remastered as part of the
weird.
Season Pass.
But cool.
It's very strange. You know, 2 and Brotherhood and Revelation, they all got remastered with the Ezio trilogy, and then 4 was a PS4 game. We just got remaster of Rogue, which never hit the new console, so now it's on the new consoles. I don't know. I guess I weirdly would rather see 1 remastered than 3. I
Really?
super don't like 3.
Well,
I-
I'm a
three
big
was
Assassin's Creed fan.
I just
do
like
not
3
like
as well. So when you say like, you get a whole new game, I'm like, well, I'd rather just.
This literally does nothing.
I would honestly rather skip a remaster of 3 and just fight more beasts of mythology,
Well, but
Greek
hold on.
mythology.
What
and
if
Odyssey?
What if they just skipped like the first 4 hours of Assassin's Creed 3 till the good part starts?
that doesn't
and
get
then that's the part that
that doesn't
you
get
play.
rid of Connor, and I do not like Connor.
I didn't like him either, and I don't know.
I'm not leaving. I'm never leaving. Shut up, Connor. I do not like
Mark's
Connor.
the best.
I'd just rather fight more Minotaurs in Odyssey.
Yeah,
or
I-
whatever.
No,
Well, there you go.
I'm excited.
it's there if you want it.
It's there if you want it. If you're getting a season pass, you're getting a lot for your $40 between these two.
Yeah.
The Fate of Atlantis, the Legacy of the First Blade, and then Assassin's Creed 3 and Liberation.
It's just crazy to me because they moved Assassin's Creed from an animation-based combat system to a hit scan combat system. They basically changed it. It's a different game now. And so you buy Odyssey, you play all the way through it, and then they're like the kicker is you're losing all the mechanics and design systems that they've put into the game.
And that's the hardest thing is like I wanted to play Syndicate because Syndicate is the only Assassin's Creed I never really picked up, and it uses the old combat system, and it's so just like
it's
weird to me
different.
now.
It's
'cause
not
I
bad, but
played
it's different. Yeah.
They said they
so
should
much
have
Origins.
improved gameplay mechanics at least for 3.
Yeah,
So,
so maybe
that could
we'll see
be
what it
enough
is.
to be
Yeah.
favorable.
Hopefully they
There you
improved
go.
Connor mechanics.
We'll have.
get him out of here.
I guess that Odyssey will be out soon. We'll have our review. Last year it was Super Mario Odyssey. This year it's Assassin's Creed
Assassin's
Odyssey.
Creed.
Different kind of
And
Odyssey.
also right around the corner, like literally,
Yeah, it's coming right up.
2 weeks from this Friday,
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's
That's
October
soon, huh?
5th.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's earlier than Assassin's.
the day of
usually
Game
is.
Scoop Live.
Everybody's getting out of Red Dead's way,
Yes.
which is probably
Rightfully
wise.
so.
Thank you.
At the
All right,
beginning of
Marketplace
October is back.
Marketplace report. Brandon Tyrell, what do we got as far as demos, game releases, games with gold, all that stuff?
Yeah. Okay, so Marketplace. Right now, you can the playable demo of Forza Horizon 4 is still up. If you haven't played it yet and you want to check it out
For the
before you,
love of God,
before you
play it.
purchase it, listen to Ryan. You
Although,
should, you should go down that. Download that.
If you're already buying it, just know that your progress does not carry over, which, by the
is
way,
one.
new rule. I'm going to just channel Bill Maher here for a second. New rule, no demo that can come out close to release and not have your progress carry over to the final
2018
game.
people.
Oh,
2018 people. Exactly right.
In
What,
addition,
what demo did just come out that your progress did carry over? Some sort of demo or beta.
Earlier this summer, Octopath Traveler on the Switch
what I'm
did that.
thinking of.
And
Yeah.
it was like, yes, this is awesome. I get to start the game early. It's great.
Yep.
in addition to the Forza demo, you can get Prison Architect right now on Xbox One. That's all the way through the month of September. You can get Live Lock, which looks like a twin. I watched the trailer
Just sounds
last
like
night.
it sounds like a privacy protection service, doesn't it? It doesn't sound like a game.
Should have got Live Lock.
Subscribe to
There are
Live
worse
Lock.
game
Just
names
protect
out
your
there.
identity.
It looks. I watched a trailer last night when I was getting ready to go to bed. It looks like a twin stick shooter featuring something akin to a transformer. So anyway, you can get that between September 16th through.
Is there
October
livestock in
15th.
Live Lock?
I have no idea.
Should be.
Right now, you can get that September 16th to October 15th on Xbox One. Additionally, Lego Star Wars 3: The Clone Wars is available.
Nope.
Was available last week. You can.
You missed it.
Ended on the 15th, so hopefully you watched last week's episode. And then the Sega Vintage Collection Monster World.
Monster Hunter War. Got it.
Monster World.
Nope, not that
Nope,
one.
not that.
Take Two. Sega Vintage Collection, Monster World. You can get that September 16th through September 30th on the Xbox One and the Xbox 360.
Fantastic.
What's out this week? Quite a bit. Today, September 18th, you can get the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle featuring Final Fight, Captain Commando, Battle Circuit, Knights of the Round, Warriors of Fate, Armored Warriors, and the King of Dragons. In addition, today you can get Fishing Sim World, which is touted as the most authentic fishing simulator ever made.
We talked about that a lot on the last.
We did.
Yep.
That got quite a bit of airtime.
That was the blackout of the last episode.
Out today, September 18th, you can get Speed Brawl, which is a 2D combat racer about moving fast and hitting hard.
Woo!
regular Brawl is not fast enough for you.
Additionally,
It's just brawling while on speed. That's all it is.
Just beating up cops.
and this one I was watching John Dornbush and Barrett play this a little yesterday. Transference.
Yes.
The Ubisoft VR thing.
The Ubisoft VR thing, although they weren't playing in VR, is out today actually, and it's sort of a first-person. It's like an experience-based exploration thing where you
That's
solve
the
puzzles.
Elijah Wood
joint.
Yeah.
Thingy.
Out tomorrow, September 19th. You can get Hover, which is a parkour game set in a futuristic open world where you can perform incredible tricks and combos.
I've seen parkour. Pretty sure they touch the ground, but okay.
Is that it's like, well, it's not lava.
Not in
parkour.
Hover, because Hover is clearly.
Additionally, tomorrow you can get League of Evil, which is an action game where you are a bionic super agent, and it is 8-bit style. So good luck with that. Friday, September 21st, Anodyne. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's harking back to 16-bit adventures where you're solving puzzles, defeating enemies in a variety of environments. I Am the Hero on Friday, September 21st is a pixel art beat-em-up fighting game. My Brother Rabbit, which is such an awesome name, out on Friday, a beautifully drawn adventure set in a surreal world that mixes reality with a child's imagination of a fantastic universe
So I'm going to say that
provides the comfort a brother and sister need to cope with their hostel reality. So this one
like
might be
the-
a sleeper.
Yeah, that description is actually super appealing.
Yeah.
That sounds like.
That's why I wanted to finish it. Yeah,
I think I want to.
right off the bat, it makes me think of like brothers. You know.
Yeah.
And finally, on Friday, September 21st, you can get Wenjia, Wenjia, a 2D platformer with puzzle-solving elements. Players can freely travel between two realms, each of them with different challenges and obstacles. And that is your Marketplace report.
Thank you,
for this
Brandon.
week.
Quickly,
Thank you.
trivia time.
Oh, God.
Miranda, pay attention.
Don't just give it up.
Okay, Steve.
Don't talk to me.
Steve asks, which of these Xbox 360 titles was the first to feature a viral achievement, i.e., play with a developer or someone else who has this achievement unlocked to get it unlocked yourself? Obviously, multiplayer-centric. This was kind of a big thing at some point in the 360 lifecycle. I don't want to say any more than that, so as not to tilt the odds in anyone's favor here. But was it Perfect Dark Zero, Blitz the League, Dead or Alive 4, or Need for Speed Carbon? We have the Ghost of Alana clinging to a 1-point lead over Brandon, 10-9. Miranda at 7. Mark at 2.
Beating
In his limited appearance.
tied with Destin.
And beating Duggan.
Nothing new
People have
there.
been on this show.
Duggan was on this show once. Interesting.
Or maybe more. He just got them wrong.
It's true. Mark, any
Yes.
thoughts on this one?
None at all.
Want to take a shot?
Sure. Let's go with Blitz the League.
Blitz the League for Mark. I'm
No idea.
gonna go.
Probably at me.
I'm gonna go Miranda's way since she.
Yeah. Now I
Claims
want,
to want
an
it.
honest to goodness, earnest answer.
I'm picking Perfect Dark Zero because it reminds me of Alana.
All right.
I actually have no. Usually I try to reason it. I have no idea.
I've
Yeah,
confessed,
seriously.
I didn't know this either. I remember some games that have done it, but I could not remember
Yeah.
what the first was.
So
So,
I'm
Steve, a good job stumping us on
Yeah,
this.
nicely done. I'm operating under the assumption that all of them had some sort of viral achievement in them, so I'm just going chronology, and I'm going to say Blitz the League as well because I remember that came out in the early aughts or mid aughts.
All right, fair enough. Well, both of you gentlemen are correct. It was Blitz the League, which means Brandon has now tied.
Yes.
You really should be just poisoning his, putting some like Dumb and Dumber style, like turbo laxative into his
I gotta figure
drink.
it
So he,
out.
I bring a glass without a lid every day.
I tried to give her. I tried to give Alana 3
invitation's
points
there.
before.
I know you
Tried
did.
very hard.
I tried to cheat earlier.
What?
You.
That's not me.
Well,
It's not for me.
Giving somebody points is cheating. It doesn't matter if
right.
it's for you or
Not
not.
we're
when you're
being
the
yelled
host.
at. We got to get out of here. We started late
that how
due
it
to some
works?
technical difficulties. We've
Yeah.
been rambling for
Well,
quite a
I'm hosting
while,
next
but
week.
I
Million
want to
points
thank
for everyone.
I want to thank Steve for sending in an excellent question. And I would love for you guys to participate. Please send in your Xbox trivia questions. You can email them to unlocked@ign.com. Please include 4 multiple choice answers and note the correct one in your email. We'll play again next week and every week. And
We've had a pretty good streak lately. A lot of good questions.
yeah,
last
good
couple
stuff
weeks.
coming in. So appreciate it from everybody.
Sasquatch one.
I'm Ryan McCaffrey. You can find me on Twitter at DMC_Ryan. Unfiltered is up for this month, which is Ted Price. Again, yeah, sure, we're talking Spider-Man. That's his new big release from Insomniac, but a lot of Sunset Overdrive talk in that conversation as well. So I'd love it if you'd check that out. And again, the St. Jude's Children's Cancer Charity fundraising stream happening Wednesday the 19th, which is probably today for a lot of people checking this out. It might be on right now, 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific. So just please pause this podcast, pop over there, check it out. Maybe contribute something if you want to do that. Mark.
Yeah. Twitter at Mark_Medina. I finally have said goodbye to Spider-Man. That's done. Played a lot of Blackout, made some videos about that, and now I am in full pre-production for the final release of Call of Duty. Me and Miranda are leaving this, going to lunch, and then have a meeting about that.
Nice, big release. Got to do it. Miranda?
A lot to do.
Awesome.
You find me at Havoc Grows on Twitter, Instagram, pretty much everywhere else, and it's Havoc with a K, because I was a dumb child. And anyway.
No, it's just it's a Halo reference. The Havoc
that's
Havoc
too.
physics engine that's
go.
in Halo
There you
and
go.
lots of other games. Which
Oh,
although
yeah.
Microsoft
Yeah.
bought it,
Yeah.
Thanks,
yeah, it's
thanks,
HAVOK.
yeah.
It's
exactly
quirky.
what it was.
It's quirky.
It's just
Every
a Halo.
time I do
note.
see that logo pop up, I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
many have some relevance. Anyway, I don't have a lot I really want to promote right now. I am running a new anime show called Anime Omake. It's a mini series. We talk about surprise anime. And I'm working on a lot of other stuff, a lot of planning, and some smaller projects that, again, just catch my Twitter. I'll talk
Sounds
about
good.
in there.
What does omake mean?
So Omake is kind of
It's
like
actually anime backwards. That's
I actually
So
was like, no, it's not. It's not.
it's like a bonus or like a gift kind of attached to something.
Oh,
So
cool.
it's like the idea was that this is a mini series, so it's like
It's
a
an
little bonus
additional.
thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I like that.
I'm Brandon Tyrell. You can find me on Twitter at Brandon Tyrell. It's just my name. I'm not promoting anything other than Thursday, September 20th is Ryan's birthday. So please go on Twitter and wish him a happy birthday. He works very hard to put all this content together. So happy birthday.
I appreciate
Happy
it.
early birthday.
Thank you. And we'll do the same for you next week.
yeah.
Oh God, what have I done? I've opened a door. But definitely check out our charity live stream
Yes,
this
please.
week. It is Wednesday.
Probably now.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
As most people have
Wednesday
As you're
like
watching
1
it.
to 7
Yeah.
p.m.
And we've said it 3 times now.
Pacific time.
Please check it out if you can.
It's for a good cause.
At least just be there. The support matters a lot
Exactly.
too, even if you can't give something.
Absolutely. And again, if you're not already watching the show early, do that. Unlocked.ign.com. Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. But hey, if YouTube or podcast services are more your thing, the show still comes at you at its regular time, 24 hours later on Wednesday afternoon. So however you want to get us, we just appreciate you tuning in. For Miranda, Brandon, and Mark, I'm Ryan. This was Unlocked 362 already.
We're getting
and
there.
we'll see you guys next week.